is a discussion. So it has a little directions on what we're asking for you to comment on. It does have a rubric attached, so you can see the rubric listed right here. And then what you're gonna do is come here into the write a comment box. You're gonna click inside of that, and this is where you can come out, you can type out a comment, you can attach a file, a link or something from your resource. You can record something. So remember, this little microphone is a recording. So if you wanted to record audio or video, you can do that within a discussion too. And then you're gonna come in and post. So I'll give you guys about 3 minutes to do that. So go ahead, get into the Getting Started course and then click on Introduce Yourself over here on the right-hand side. And Rachel just posted a link to the Padlet for questions, and it's in the chat window. Oops. Thanks, Rachel. So to find the training course, you're gonna click up here on courses. And when you click on courses, if it's not one of these tiles, what you can do is come over here and click on my courses. And when you click on my courses, this is gonna give you your course listing for the current grading period. So it should be listed somewhere within this section. So it's called Getting Started with Schoology, and then you should see a link under there that says Fort Wayne 8 a.m. So you're gonna click on that and that's gonna pop you into the training course. And then you're gonna come over here on the right-hand side and click on Introduce Yourself. All right, so if you don't have the course, what you can do is I'm gonna paste an access code in the chat window. So if you're not seeing the course, what you can do is come up here, click on courses again, then come over here underneath your name, you should see my courses. So you'll click there. And then you can come over here under Manage Courses and click here on Join a Course. And what you can do is copy that code out of the Zoom chat window and paste it in there and then click on Join. So typically you only have to do this for training, because with your courses, they'll be pulled over from your student information system and they'll automatically be populated within your own accounts. But since this is for training, I'm on one platform, you guys are on another, so I can't just automatically bring you into a course. So this is how we have to get into our courses. All right, so there goes our timer. So I want to show you a couple things that are going to happen as your students start to submit work back to you. So one thing, you will start to see reminders. So back within the training course, when I have my reminders, I have 13 ungraded discussion posts. So that's one way I can see that I have things I need to grade. Also, you'll see up here in the notification, so the little bell option, when I click on that bell, it's saying that a few people or 11 people responded to that discussion. So I can click here and it will take me to the discussion. I can click here on the 13 ungraded discussion posts and I see Introduce Yourself. So I'm gonna click here and this is gonna bring me back into the discussion. So as I scroll down here as the teacher, I have a few things I can do. The first thing, I can highlight user. So if you wanted to see who posted something, what they posted, you can click on highlight user. So if I click on Amy's name, it's going to highlight Amy's comments so I can see her comments. And it will also tell you how many comments that a student's made and also show you who has not commented. So you can see that they're under the highlight user. So a teacher can come in here, I can write a comment, I can like Amy's comment, I can come in here and write something in here too. So if I come into the discussion, then I can also come in here and grade. So on my side, I see these little boxes over here on the right. So if I click on one of these boxes, I have my grading window. So this looks a little bit different because I did attach a rubric in here. So anytime you see this little icon within Schoology, it means rubric. So if I click here in this grading window, the rubric that I have attached is automatically going to pop up here. And then I'm just going to grade directly from the rubric and click save. So I can come down here to John. We can click on the rubric and then we can grade. Again, I can like all these comments too. And then I can come in here, click there again, and then I can come in and grade. You can also put grade comments in here too. So if I grade Karen's, and then I can open this up, and then I can have this shown to student. So that's how we can come in and we can enter a grade. Also, when you're grading from a rubric, there is little grade comments you can also put directly here within the rubric too. So any questions about grading? The comments do not transfer to PowerTeacher, but they do stay within Schoology. So the student, whenever you post a grade, if there was a comment, the student would see a little notification like you do when a student, let me show you up here. So when the student gets a grade, they would get a little notification saying that there's been a grade posted. So that's where they would be able to see the comment. Look at Lisa. Lisa came in here and posted a photo. So good job, Lisa. All right, so that's how we can come in and grade. So thank you guys for doing that. So we can like these too. Now to create a discussion. So again, you're creating materials. So you're coming in to add materials and then you're coming down to add discussion. So when I get into this window, I have my title. So whatever you're asking your students to discuss, and then you have your description. So remember, this description window is the same description window from pages. So anything you created on a page, you can also create within discussions and assignments. So let's say, for example, we're doing a discussion on US states. Oops. Okay, so we're doing a discussion on states. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click on my insert content, and I'm going to click on YouTube and bring in a video. So maybe I want my students to watch this geography now. So I'm going to click on that little icon and then come up and do an import embed. So now I have my little direction, have my YouTube video. Again, you have these attachments down here. You can always record your own video. So if you wanted to record a little video for your students to watch, and then they can come in and make a post, you can do that. Then we have some options. So the first thing is a due date. So with discussions, they do not have to have a due date. We have an open discussion within our training course called a parking lot, which is just an open place for for you guys to come in and make, if you have questions, to post a question. So this is completely up to you. But if I do select a due date, maybe I'll pick tomorrow, I can come in here and put a time. So tomorrow at 3, I want this due. You can also enable grading. So if I click within this box, I can come in here, I can change the point total. Try that again. I can change the point total. Then I have my category. So whatever category this grade is going to go into. I have my grading period. So this is telling me that my grading period is ending today. So maybe I want to put this into my Q4. So you will get these little messages like this once your grading periods are close to ending. So I'll just put it in Q4. Factor is a way to add in weight. Since we're passing back to PowerSchool, the factor does not pass back. So if you are using pass back, I always leave this as 1, so I don't touch it. Then we have our scales and rubrics. So you can come in here, you can change your grading scales, and this is where you can attach a rubric. So if you had a discussion rubric that you want to use, you can use that, or you can create a brand new rubric from this section too. So I'll just click on my discussion. So once you attach a rubric, you do not have the option to align learning objectives, because when you're creating rubrics, you can create a rubric with standards in that rubric. So that's why this option is kind of grayed out, because there could be standards in that rubric already. And then when we have our options down here at the bottom. So first, individually assigned. So we talked a little bit about this as last time we were together, but if you had a student or a few students you wanted to assign this to, you can click on that little option. The next option is locking. So locking prevents or disables the abilities for students to make submissions. So what that means is that I have this due tomorrow at 3. Tomorrow after 3, my students can still get into this discussion and make postings. It will show up late on my side, so I will get notifications that it's late, so past the due date, but they can still get in there. So what locking's gonna do is if I click on lock on, let's see, this date always comes in a little weird. So I can come in here, maybe I wanna give them a full 24 hours to get in there and make a submission. So if I lock this on the 1st at 3 o'clock, that means my students will have a whole 24 hours to get in here. And then the 1st at 3 o'clock, the discussion would be locked down. So they would no longer be able to open it up and make any type of submissions. So this is completely up to you if you want to use the lock. But it is a nice feature, because if you do want to kind of get a buffer for your students, if you want to give them a couple days, or I can just lock this on the same day. So if I wanted to lock, if I wanted to lock this on the 31st at 3, I can do that. So then the due date, when that happens, that discussion would be locked, and then they could not get in there and make any type of submissions. So I guess it just depends if you want to have or want to give your students the ability to turn in late assignments or not, assignments and or discussions. So the green dot, again, this is being published to students. So my students can get in, they'll see it, they'll be able to make a submission. Then you have this little cap and gown icon. So right now it says members can see other responses before participating. So if I click on create, my students can get into the discussion. If others have posted in there already, they would be able to read those posts, and then they could post their own post. But if I click on this, now the students would have to post something first, and then everyone else, every other student's postings are going to show. So kind of a way to make the students post something first, and then they can see everything else. So you can always say something like post first and then comment on a student's post. So you can do something like that too. Then you can copy this into other courses as well. So when I click here on create, here's my discussion down here at the bottom. So if I click on that, here's my little direction, here's my video. You can see my rubric here too. So I want you guys to give it a try. So you're going to come to add materials. Sorry, add materials, add discussion, and then go ahead and create your own discussion. So I'm going to put the timer on here for 3 minutes, and then we'll have a little talk about discussions. So if you're creating a discussion right now, you're only going to be able to do it within your training course or your practice course. So the training course are getting started. Technically, you guys are all students in here. So if you were an admin in the course, you can come in here and create one, but you're all technically right now students. So you would only be able to create something within a course where you're an admin. No worries. All right, so what are some discussions that you guys just created? What are some examples that you created within your practice courses? A discussion about malware? Okay, very cool. Anyone else want to share a discussion they created? All right, about evolution and Darwin. Blame for the First World War. Awesome. All right. So do you think discussions are something that you guys would use within your own courses once they go live? Yeah, I love discussions. They're one of my favorites. Especially if the students are kind of working remotely, it would be a nice way to engage the students because they could just go into the discussion and kind of have a discussion in between posts too. So I think it could be super helpful. So within our little discussion folder here, we have some benefits for creating online discussions, some strategies for creating interactive discussions. There's a folder here on some discussion how-to. So if you wanted some more information about creating discussions, there's some quick little videos here and some Schoology blogs on online discussions. So some more information why digital discussions are critical to personal development. That's a really good article if you get a chance to read it. But we also have elementary discussions in here and then secondary discussions. This one discussion I'll point out really quick. It's in the elementary discussion, but it shows you how you can use Google Earth within Schoology. So when I click in here, this is a Google Street View, if that makes sense, from the Great Barrier Reef. So you can get embed codes from Google Street View and you can embed them in Schoology. So I just think this is such a cool thing that you can do because you can have a street view and the students can see around it. So someone just said about a discussion about the Treaty of Versailles. Maybe you have a street view of Versailles and the students can see the building or something like that. So I think using that Google Street View, again, what you're using is an embed code. So you can come in here and paste that in there so the students can see it. So it could be places around the world. There's a ton of museums right now that have street views. So if you're talking about some type of lesson, maybe you can find a street view for a museum and the students can go through that. So it's a pretty cool thing that you can do within Schoology. So any other questions about discussions? All right. Okay, so another thing that we have are assignments. So that's what we're going to hop into now. And this is just a traditional Schoology assignment. So just using Schoology, not like a Google assignment or anything like that. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to switch over to my student view so I can show you what this is going to look like from a student view. So when a student has a traditional Schoology assignment, they have, this is what my assignment looks like. So a couple questions, and then I have a video in here for students to watch. But the students are gonna come over here and click on Submit Assignment. So when they do that, they have a few different options on how to get materials back to you. So the first option they have is upload. So with the upload option, they can click on File, so they can bring something in from their computer. They can also do a recording. So if they click on the microphone again, they can record audio or they can come in here and record video. So they have that option for any type of Schoology assignment. They also have a create window. So with the create window, they can come in, they can type out a sentence, a paragraph, a whole essay if they need to. And then they have editing options up here at the top too. So they also have an insert content where they can bring in images, links, and they can even get into their Google Drive here too. And the students also have resources. So they can click on the resource tab, they can get into their own personal resources, or they can come into their apps. So when they come into apps, they can also tap into their own Google Drive. So if they had something out here on their drive, they can come in here and attach it into this assignment too. So upload, create, and resources for the students. So within the training course, there's another assignment, or there's an assignment over here on the right-hand side, and this is just called Dogs versus Cats. So if you guys don't mind clicking here on Dogs versus Cats, and look at Stan. Stan's already in here and submitted an assignment. So good job, Stan. So what you're gonna do once you get into Dogs versus Cats, there's going to be a submit assignment option there. So you're gonna click on that and you're gonna submit something back to me so I can show you what that looks like from my view and show you guys how to grade, and then we'll talk about creating one. So go ahead and get into the training course. You're gonna click on Dogs versus Cats over here on the right-hand side, and then you're gonna go through and submit some work back to me for this assignment. So I'm gonna put the timer on here again for 3 minutes. So we're gonna practice with that, and then we'll look at grading, and we'll also create an assignment. And if you have any questions, please let me know. All right, so Perry has a question. So he has 4 sections of the same course. Is there a way to create everything on one section and copy or clone everything to other sections? So there's a couple things that you can do here. So for example, if I have this course, you can always create a folder, and then you can click here on the gear option and then click on copy to courses, and you can copy it into your other courses. The other option is you can link sections. So let me do this. So there is a way that you can link sections within Schoology. So I'm gonna put this support page in the chat window so you can take a peek at it. So with linked sections, and we have a couple minutes, and I'll pull this page up so you can see it. So if you have 3 or 4 different sections, you can link them together. So I will say this, if you are linking sections, it's kind of an all-in or not. So if you decide to link your sections, you have to stick with it. So typically we recommend doing this at the beginning. So either a beginning of the school year or the beginning of a semester. So when you're starting out fresh, and you have to stay with it. There is a chance if you get into linking sections and maybe we're down the road 3 or 4 weeks and you decide it's not really working, if you unlink those sections, there's a chance that you can lose grades. So it is pretty easy to do the linking sections, but just in case, you just have to stick with it. So for example, if you come in here to link sections, and this will give you all the directions on how to do that, but then you can determine when you create materials, where it's going. So for example, with the assignment, there's under the availability and the due dates, this is where you could add in those sections and assign it to multiple sections at once. So it is very helpful. You just have to kind of stick with it. So that support page is within the Zoom chat window. So if you wanted some more information about that, you can pull up the window. That's going to show you exactly how you can go in and link your sections too. Alrighty, so let's look at our assignments. So here again, I have reminders. So once you start to see reminders, that means that you have things that need to be graded. So under my reminders, I have my 17 ungraded assignment submissions. And also I'm seeing my notifications up here. So when I see my notifications, I can see that you guys went in there and submitted. So thank you. So I'll come up here and click on dogs versus cats. So again, this is that traditional Schoology assignment. So it's going to look a little bit different than a Google assignment. So when I come in here to dogs versus cats, I can see all my submissions over here. And if one of these were late, instead of saying on time, it would show up red and late. So you can click here next to submissions, there's a received. So if it was late, this is what it would look like, and then you would have a number there. So we'll go ahead and click on John because he's up here at the top. And when I click on John's name, it brings me into this grading window. So here from this window, you can see John's name up here, how many submissions, you have submission activity over here. This is where we can come up and enter a grade. So if I click here within this box, I get my grade and I can put in a comment. So I can have that comment, I can show it to the student. But also here within this window, you have some editing tools up here. So if I wanted to highlight something, I can come in here and highlight. I can also change the style of that highlight. So if I wanted it in yellow, you have a note option. So if you wanted to add in a note, I can click here. So I can put notes in the assignments. You have a draw feature. So if you wanted to circle something too and put a note, you can come in here and do that. So you do have those editing features up here. So then I can click here on this arrow, and then it's going to bring me into the next submission. So then we can come up here and grade again, and we can submit. But I can also see icons down here at the bottom of the page. So down here, you should start to see all of your students' images down here at the bottom. So if I click on Chelsea, then Chelsea's submission is going to pop up here. So we can enter grade, and then we can go to the next one. So this is, let's see if I can download this. Oh, is it gonna, it's not gonna let me open it. Sorry. So if you're doing the grades, you have to click show to student every time. So, and then I have to click on show to student. So the show to student option, the student's gonna see their grade. The show to student option means the comment. So that's how we can come in and grade that traditional Schoology assignment. So Karen, you can see she uploaded a little photo. How cute. Thanks for sharing, Karen. So you can see up here what that file is going to be too. So that's our traditional Schoology assignment. Now how to create one. So I'll come back out here into the training course. I'm going to click here on add materials, and I'm going to come down and click on add assignment. So this looks almost identical to a discussion, just a couple ways, or just a couple things that are a little bit different. So first, you're going to put your name for your assignment, so whatever we're naming it. Then we have this same editing window. So again, the same thing that you created on pages and discussions, you can also create within assignments. So if you wanted to attach a video, pull in a slide deck, anything like that, that's where we can come in and do that. Then we have this. So if I click here on Google Drive assignments, it will bring up my Google Drive. So let's say I wanted to attach something. So with the Google Drive assignment, you can use a Google Doc, slides, sheets, or Google Draw. So you cannot use a Google form on the Google assignment. So it just doesn't work. So let's see, I'll take, maybe we'll do this sheet, and then I'll click here on attach. So when I attach this, it now becomes a Google Drive assignment, and it will create a copy of my file for each student. So each student would be able to open the file, they would be able to edit the file and submit it back to you. The cool part about the Google Drive assignments is if you can kind of get everyone to do it at the same time, you can watch in real time as your students go through and edit documents. So you can kind of go through and give them comments as they're going through and editing. So that's a Google Drive assignment. Then we have all the same materials from discussion. So you have your due date, your grading categories, grading period, we talked about factor. You have your rubric scale option. Even if you're using the Google Drive assignments, you can still attach a rubric. So you can use rubrics with those assignments. We have our alignment. So if you wanted to attach a learning objective, you can click there. We also have individually assign. We talked about that. We have that locking feature. Submissions enabled. You can also disable submissions. So when you disable submissions, it means that the students would not have that submit assignment option there. So you have that option. Publishing to students, you also have some grade statistics, and then you have comments. So me personally, I always have comments turned off. I'm not trying to confuse my students. I don't want them making any comments on my assignment. I want them to click on submit assignment and submit something back to me. So that's why I always have comments disabled, turned off. And then again, we can copy into other courses. The factor is a way to add in weight, but you guys are doing grade passback with PowerSchool. So this factor does not transfer or sync back. So I always leave this as 1. There is a chance if you change this to something else, it may affect the syncing of the grades. So then you would go ahead here and click on create, and then you would create a traditional Schoology assignment, or if you're using Google Drive, you can create a Google Drive assignment. So let's practice with assignments. So go ahead and get into your practice course, click on add materials and add assignments. And I'll give you guys 3 minutes to do that. And we can talk a little bit more about the grade book. I'll show you what that looks like. And we can get into a couple other things over on the left-hand side of the course. All right, so any questions about creating an assignment? So down here within the training course, there's a whole folder here on assignments. So you have some elementary assignment examples. You have a folder here on traditional assignment examples, and then you have a Google folder here. So if you wanted some more information about Google. So William, I'll show you here in a second, but do you guys want to share some of the assignments that you just created? All right, maybe we can think about it a little bit. Um, oh, so Lisa posted a lab that the students are doing today. Very cool. Design critique, awesome. Oh, that's great. Good job, guys. Okay, so William has a question. Am I able to look at an assignment I assigned from a student's perspective? So within your courses, so a course that you're an admin, so a couple things I'm going to talk about over here on the left-hand side. So first, you have your course image up here at the very top of the page, top left. You can change this. So if you hover over this course image, you should get an edit. So you can click there on edit, and then you can bring in a file from your computer. So if you have a specific image you want to attach to that course, you can come in and change that. Right under your course image, you have course options. So if you click here on course options, and if I don't think I went over this last week, so if I did, just let me know, but I don't think we looked at this. Under course options, you can view course as. So if I click on view course as, this is going to show me my course roster. So I'll come in here and click on William's name. And when I do that, I get a message up here. This is how my course looks like to William. So if I wanted to see what an assignment's going to look like, I can come see, or I can come click on that assignment. And then this is showing me this assignment from William. So William came in here and he submitted this. So if I click on this, it's going to show me my submission, which he has an image. Little kitty, how cute. So that's how you can see the course from a student's perspective. So I still have that message up here at the top. I'm still viewing this as William, and then I can click here on back to course. And then it's my view as the teacher view. So that's under course options. Another thing under course options is you can send messages. So if I click here on send message, I can send a message to everyone. So if I wanted to send a message to all of the students within the course, I can come in here and click on members, and then this would go out to everyone. So if I click on send, everyone's going to see that message. So I'm seeing this. If you don't have this course options, view course ads, that means you don't have students enrolled in your course yet. So once you have students in your course, then you would be able to see the view course ads. So yeah, so you have to wait for students. What you could do is if you kind of wanted to do a pair share with another teacher, within your practice courses, like you could have another teacher come in as a student in your practice course, you can be a student in theirs. So you can just give each other your access code for your practice. So you can have a student in your course, and then you would have those course options. Another thing within the course options is I would come into the privacy and security settings and take a peek at this. So within my course, when I come in here to the settings for the course, under other settings, I have it so all members can post course updates, all members can comment, and all members can edit discussion responses. So with that being all members, that means your students can come in here and do that. So I would probably come in here and change this to course admins. And then this is also going to tell you a little bit more here about parent settings. So it's going to show you how parents will kind of view if it's other students. So other students' names will come up as anonymous. And then so you can see some more information about parent settings in here too. So again, that's underneath your course image and then clicking here on course options. So I know one thing we didn't get to last week are the updates. So when I click here on updates, we can come in here and post updates to our students. Let's see. So I can ask a question, are you excited for spring break? Then you see these icons, which you've seen in a bunch of different places, but there is a polling feature here. So if I click on polling, on the polling feature, so we can add in options. So I have 2 here, I can add additional options in here too. If I click here on post, you guys should see this under updates. So you should see updates with a little number 1 on it, but updates will also come out and appear out here on your Schoology homepage. So here's my recent activity. So when I get out here to my Schoology homepage, I can see my updates out here too. So if you just want to kind of give a message to your students, and if there's something you're doing in class tomorrow, you want to put an update, you can always come in here and put an update. So this is all anonymous too, by the way, so you can't tell who's making what vote. We can also put in posts. So I can come in here, instead of clicking on post, I can click on this little option here. And what this is going to do, it's going to take my course update and make it an announcement. So if I click on that and I'll click post, your announcements come up here at the top of the page. So I have my title here, and then I have my announcement. So that's a nice way, if there's something you want to kind of tell your students, you can always put it here in an announcement. And again, those announcements are going to show up here under recent activity too. So that's the updates. Updates are a really cool feature. There's a ton of other things you can do there. Again, you have that little microphone option, so you can always make recordings in here too. So then we have the grade book. So you guys have went in there and you completed a couple things for me. So thanks for doing that. When I come in here into the grade book, this first column was for introduce yourself. So if I hover over the title, it's going to tell me some information about that. But this also, once I come in here to each of these boxes, you can see that little rubric icon again. So if I click there, it's going to bring up my rubric. So I can grade directly from my grade book. So a couple things on the grade book. Anytime you see an icon in the top right-hand corner, it means there's a submission. So if I wanted to come in here, I could put a grade in here if I wanted to, but I can also click on that little icon and go into the submission. You do have some options here with the 3 dots. So if I wanted to set all grades, if I click there, I can come in here and set all grades. So if I wanted everyone to have a 10 out of 10, I can click on confirm, and then everyone's gotten a 10 out of 10. One other thing here within this section, when you're doing grade pass back and something's not coming through correctly, over here on the right-hand side with the 3 dots again, there is a bulk edit feature. So this could be super helpful, because what this is going to do, it's going to show you every piece of material, gradable material for the quarter. And then if you need to go down and look through here to see if there's any mistakes, you can come down here and look through that. So that could be helpful if there's some mistake somewhere and it's not passing back. This is a really helpful screen, so you can take a peek at that to see if maybe you didn't have a due date, or maybe it's not published, something like that. So I know you guys are doing pass back. So what you're gonna have to do with the pass back is you have to come here into your grade setup. So within the grade setup page, you have to create your categories here within Schoology. So I will recommend this if you guys haven't already done it at a district level. There is a PowerSchool app that really helps to map your categories back and forth to each other. So if you haven't downloaded that yet for your school or for your district, I always recommend doing that. But with your categories in Schoology, they have to mirror what you have in PowerSchool. So whatever categories you have in PowerSchool, you have to create the same categories within Schoology. So to create categories in Schoology, it's very simple. You're just coming in here to grade setup, and then you're clicking on add. You can come in and put your category name, how it's calculated, and then you're just going to click here on create. You can weight the categories. So if you click within this box, you can come in here and determine the different weights. So pretty easy to set that up. There is a copy settings option over here. So if you have 4 courses again, every category is the same. You can come in here, set the categories in one course, and then I can copy and add everything into my 3 other courses, and then click on copy. This is also where you can come in and create rubrics. So if I click on rubrics, I can come over here and click on add, and then you can come in here and add a rubric in. So I know I went through that pretty quickly, but that PowerSchool app is very helpful. If you guys can download that and push it out, it usually shows up over here on the left-hand side too. Then the last thing over here on the right are the members section. So when I come in here and click on members, this is where I can see all of my students. So this is where you would be able to see your students in here. So I'm going to come in here and add in Sarah as an admin. So Sarah's an admin in here, and we'll add in Rachel. So you guys are both admins in this course. But a couple things I can do here from this page. So one, if I click on the gear option, I can send a message. So if I wanted to send a message to John, I can come in here and send a message to John. You can also do the preview course option here from this page too. And if my parents were integrated, let me show you what this looks like really quick. Again, if parents were integrated into Schoology, this is my practice course. So I have Keisha, who's my student, and then under Keisha's name, you see Carson. So this is her parent. So when I click here on this icon, I can send a message to the student, or I can message the parent here from this page. So that again is under members. And then you can also come in and make others admin. So if you had a co-teacher, you can give them that access code, and you can come click on that gear icon and you can make them an admin. All right. So any questions about updates, about the grade book, grade setup, any questions about members?
Quick question for you.
Sure.
As of right now, through Fort Community Schools, they have us create a page for a class, like I teach anatomy and physiology, and then link the rosters to it so that my page is there year after year, even though the rosters change. How does that functionality look in Schoology so that when we're building stuff, we're not losing things if I have different classes next year, but then I have that class again in 3 years?
So what you can do is up here at the top of the page, you have an option where you can save your whole entire course to your resources. So if you save this whole entire course, it will take that whole course, and what it's going to do, it's going to come out here to your resources. And the course is going to come over in a folder. So if whatever your anatomy course, so it would have that title there. And then if you click on it, all that material is going to be in there. So it's going to save however you have it on that day where you click on this save course to resources. So then, for example, if I come in here, here's my anatomy class, then I'm just going to click on this gear icon the following year and then add it into my course. So that whole anatomy class you built, you saved it in your resources, and then you click on add to course to move it into your new course for the new school year.
So then resources and assignments and everything will populate over where they're supposed to be?
Yeah, so everything within that saved course, is going to come into your, whenever you copy it into your new course. You'll still have to go through with the assignments and put in due dates and things like that, but everything will be there within your course. Does that answer your question? All right, so any other questions we have about some of the materials that we went over today? Anything from last week? Okay, so down at the bottom of the page, there's a parking lot. So if you have questions tomorrow, next week, when you guys are all on spring break, I'm sure you're going to be playing with Schoology every day. Just kidding. But if you want to put in some questions, whenever you guys get back, if you have a question, please feel free to come in here and post a question. I do have an evaluation down here at the very bottom of the page. So if you don't mind taking a minute to filling that out, I would really appreciate that. And I do have the recording out here from last week too. So I'll hang out here for the next few minutes. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. But if you guys are ready to go, thanks for being with me. I hope you guys have a great spring break and you take some time to relax and enjoy this nice weather coming out. So thank you guys. I hope you have a great Tuesday. Thanks.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.